Planet Earth is home to some of the most bizarre, jaw-dropping, and genuinely unbelievable plants you will ever lay eyes on. And today we are looking at 10 of them. I am talking about plants that look like they belong on the set of a science fiction movie. Plants that make you stop, stare, and ask out loud, is that even real? Plants that seem too strange, too dramatic, and too extraordinary to have grown right here on this earth. But they are real, every single one of them. And the most exciting thing is that several of these are plants you can actually grow yourself, right in your own garden, right in your own home. So if you love plants that are anything but ordinary, if you want a garden that makes people stop and stare, or if you are simply someone who is endlessly fascinated by the incredible diversity of the natural world, then this video was made for you. Stay with me all the way to the end because number 10 on this list is a plant so extraordinary that the first time I saw it, I genuinely did not believe it was a living thing. I thought it was a sculpture. Before we dive into this incredible list, if you are new to this channel, welcome. You have found a place where we take the plant world seriously and celebrate just how extraordinary it really is. If you enjoy content like this, please hit the like button right now. It takes 1 second and it genuinely helps this video reach more plant lovers around the world. And please subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a new video. We post every week and I promise you, there is always something worth watching. All right, let us get into this. Here are 10 plants that look like they came from another planet, starting from number 1. Most of us grow up with a fairly fixed idea of what a plant looks like. Green leaves, maybe some flowers, roots in the soil. And that picture covers a huge number of plants, but it does not cover all of them, not even close. The plant kingdom is staggeringly diverse. Scientists estimate there are over 390,000 known species of plants on Earth, and new ones are still being discovered every year. Within that enormous number, there are plants that have evolved in such extreme, isolated, or unusual environments that they look nothing like anything most of us have ever seen. Some evolved in deserts, where survival meant storing every drop of water in shapes that look almost architectural. Some grew in environments with almost no soil nutrients, so they developed extraordinary ways of feeding themselves. Some evolved in complete isolation on remote islands, with no pressure from the same animals and competitors that shaped plants elsewhere. And the results are shapes and structures that seem to come from a completely different world. These plants matter not just because they are visually incredible, though they absolutely are. They matter because they remind us that nature is far more creative, far more strange, and far more wonderful than our everyday experience of it suggests. And the best part? You do not have to travel to a remote desert or a distant rainforest to experience them. Many of these extraordinary plants can be grown in your own garden or home. Let us meet them. 1. Dragon blood tree. Botanical name Dracana cinnabari. Opening our list at number 1 is a tree that looks like it was designed by a concept artist for a fantasy film. This is the dragon blood tree, and it grows on the island of Socotra off the coast of Yemen, and it is one of the most visually striking living things on the entire planet. The dragon blood tree has a completely unique silhouette. Instead of branches that spread outward and upward the way most trees do, this tree grows in a shape that looks exactly like an upside-down umbrella. The trunk is thick and smooth, and at the top, it suddenly fans out into a perfectly dense, flat canopy of dark, spiky leaves that creates an almost geometric shape against the sky. The name comes from the deep red resin the tree produces when its bark is cut. This red sap, which does genuinely look like dragon blood, has been used for centuries in medicine, dyes, and varnishes. Key benefit. Beyond its extraordinary appearance, the dragon blood tree plays a vital ecological role on Socotra. The dense canopy catches moisture from the fog and channels it down to the roots, an essential adaptation in the island's dry climate. It is a plant that has literally evolved its shape to survive its environment, and the result is one of the most dramatic silhouettes in the natural world. Caution. The dragon blood tree is sadly classified as vulnerable due to habitat loss and climate change. It is not a plant most of us can grow at home as it requires the very specific conditions of its native island. But it belongs on this list as a reminder of just how extraordinary the plant world truly is. If you ever get the chance to visit Socotra, it is genuinely like stepping onto another planet. 2. Welwitschia, botanical name Welwitschia mirabilis. Number 2 is a plant that looks less like a living thing and more like something washed up from the ocean floor. This is Welwitschia, and it might be the strangest plant in the world. Welwitschia grows only in the Namib Desert of Namibia and Angola, one of the oldest and driest deserts on Earth. And here is the most extraordinary thing about it. This plant produces exactly 2 leaves in its entire lifetime. Just 2. But those 2 leaves grow continuously for the life of the plant, which can be over 1,000 years. Over centuries, the leaves get battered by the wind, split, torn, and twisted until the plant looks like a chaotic pile of ancient, leathery straps lying across the desert floor. The overall appearance is deeply alien. There is nothing else that looks like it anywhere in the plant kingdom. Key benefit. Welwitschia survives in an environment where almost nothing else can. It absorbs moisture from the coastal fog of the Namib Desert through its leaves, allowing it to survive in conditions of extreme drought. It is a living fossil with no close living relatives, the sole surviving member of its entire plant order. Scientists study it to understand plant evolution, drought adaptation, and extreme longevity. Caution. Welwitschia is a protected species in its native habitat and is not commercially available for growing at home. But it has been successfully cultivated in botanical gardens around the world. If you want to see one in person, check whether your nearest botanical garden has one. Some of the specimens in cultivation are hundreds of years old. You would be looking at something that was already ancient when your great-great-grandparents were born. 3. Lithops, botanical name Lithops species, commonly known as living stones or pebble plants. Number 3 is a plant that has perfected one of the most remarkable tricks in all of nature. It pretends to be a rock. Ladies and gentlemen, meet lithops, the living stones. Lithops are tiny succulent plants from the deserts of southern Africa that have evolved to look almost exactly like small stones or pebbles. Each plant consists of just 2 thick, fleshy leaves fused together, sitting almost entirely below the soil surface. The top surface is flat and patterned in shades of gray, brown, tan, and cream, with markings that mimic the texture and color of the surrounding rocks and gravel, so precisely that they are genuinely almost impossible to spot in their natural habitat. Once a year, usually in autumn, a single daisy-like flower emerges from the gap between the 2 leaves in white or bright yellow. It is completely unexpected and absolutely delightful. Key benefit. Lithops are one of the most fascinating and rewarding small plants you can grow at home. They thrive in a sunny windowsill, require very little water, take up almost no space, and are unlike anything else in your plant collection. They are also a wonderful conversation starter. Guests who have never seen them before invariably cannot believe they are alive. For anyone who loves unusual plants or collects succulents, lithops are an absolute must. Caution. The number one mistake people make with lithops is overwatering. These plants come from one of the driest environments on Earth, and their roots are highly susceptible to rot if the soil stays wet. In summer, do not water them at all. In autumn and winter, water sparingly only when the leaves begin to look slightly wrinkled. Give them full sun, very well-drained gritty compost, and minimal water, and they will thrive and reward you with that incredible annual flower. 4. Rainbow eucalyptus, botanical name. Eucalyptus deglupta. Number 4 is a tree that looks like an artist has painted it by hand, except no artist made this. Nature did, and no artist could ever quite match it. This is the rainbow eucalyptus. The rainbow eucalyptus is a tall, fast-growing tropical tree, native to the Philippines, Indonesia, and Papua New Guinea. It is the only eucalyptus species native to the Northern Hemisphere. And what makes it completely unlike any other tree on Earth is its bark. The bark peels away in strips throughout the year, revealing a vivid, bright green inner bark underneath. As that new bark ages and matures over the following months, it passes through shades of blue, purple, orange, and finally a deep maroon before it peels away again. The result is a trunk that at any given moment is covered in a wild, abstract patchwork of green, blue, purple, orange, and brown. It genuinely looks like a painted sculpture rather than a living tree. Key benefit. As an ornamental tree in a warm climate garden, the rainbow eucalyptus is absolutely extraordinary. There is no other tree that provides this kind of year-round visual drama from its bark alone. In tropical and subtropical regions, it is used as a landscaping tree and produces a striking focal point unlike anything else in the plant world. It is also fast-growing, providing shade and structure quickly. Caution. The rainbow eucalyptus needs a warm, frost-free climate to thrive outdoors and is best suited to USDA zones 9 to 11. In cooler climates, it can be grown in a large container and brought inside during cold months, though it will not reach its full dramatic size. It is also a vigorous grower and needs space. Do not plant it close to structures or other plants. It might eventually shade out. Given the right conditions, though, it is one of the most spectacular trees you can grow. 5. Titan arum/corpse flower, botanical name Amorphophallus titanum, commonly called the corpse flower. Number 5 is famous for two reasons. First, it produces the largest unbranched flower structure in the entire plant kingdom. Second, when it blooms, it smells like rotting flesh. Ladies and gentlemen, the corpse flower. The Titan arum is a tropical plant from the rainforests of Sumatra in Indonesia. The flower structure it produces, called a spathe and spadix, can reach 10 feet tall and 3 feet wide. It is deep burgundy red on the inside and pale green on the outside, and the central spike, called the spadix, towers above everything around it. But the most extraordinary thing about this flower is what happens when it blooms. It generates heat, warming itself to human body temperature to help disperse its smell. And that smell is designed to mimic a rotting animal carcass in order to attract the carrion beetles and flies that pollinate it. When a corpse flower blooms at a botanical garden, people come from hundreds of miles away just to experience it. Key benefit. The Titan arum is one of the greatest natural spectacles on Earth. A single bloom can take 7 to 10 years to produce, lasts only 24 to 48 hours, and the event is so rare and so dramatic that botanical gardens announce blooms like major events. From a scientific standpoint, the plant's ability to generate heat, called thermogenesis, and its extraordinary evolutionary relationship with its pollinators makes it one of the most studied and fascinating plants in existence. Caution. The Titan arum is not a plant for the home garden. It requires a very large greenhouse, tropical conditions, and extraordinary patience. But it is grown successfully in botanical gardens around the world. If you ever see a corpse flower blooming event announced near you, go. It is a once-in-a-lifetime experience that will change the way you think about plants forever. 6. Black bat flower, botanical name, Taka chantrieri. Number 6 looks like it was designed by someone who wanted to create the most dramatic and theatrical flower possible. Dark, mysterious, and genuinely unlike anything else in the plant kingdom. This is the black bat flower. The black bat flower is a tropical perennial from Southeast Asia. It produces flowers that are so unusual they barely look real. The bloom is deep, almost black-purple with large wing-shaped bracts that spread out on either side, like the wings of a bat in flight. From beneath the flower hang long, thread-like bracts that can reach up to 28 inches in length, giving the whole structure a dramatic, trailing appearance that is completely unlike any other flower you have ever seen. The combination of the bat wing shape, the near-black color, and those extraordinary trailing whiskers create something that looks more like a prop from a gothic fantasy film than a living plant. Key benefit. For exotic plant collectors and lovers of the unusual, the black bat flower is one of the most coveted plants in existence. It is growable as a houseplant or in a warm greenhouse, and when it blooms, the flower is so extraordinary that it becomes the absolute centerpiece of any plant collection. It pairs beautifully with other tropical foliage plants and creates an atmosphere of lush, dramatic exoticism that no ordinary houseplant can achieve. Caution. The black bat flower needs warm, humid conditions to thrive. It prefers temperatures above 60 degrees Fahrenheit, high humidity, indirect light, and consistently moist but well-drained soil. It does not like dry air, cold temperatures, or direct hot sun. For those in cooler climates, it can be grown successfully indoors or in a heated greenhouse. It is a plant that rewards the gardener who pays attention to its needs with one of the most extraordinary flowers in the world. 7. Baseball plant, botanical name Euphorbia obesa. Number 7 is a plant so perfectly geometric that it genuinely looks like it was manufactured rather than grown. This is the baseball plant, and it is one of the most extraordinary shapes in the entire succulent world. The baseball plant is a small, spherical succulent from the arid regions of South Africa. It grows into an almost perfect sphere, or slightly flattened ball shape, typically growing to about the size of a baseball or softball. The surface is smooth, green, and marked with evenly spaced horizontal bands in lighter and darker shades of green that run around the plant like the stitching on a baseball. It has no true leaves. The spherical body itself is the entire plant, designed to store water and minimize surface area in the harsh desert environment. The result is something that looks less like a plant and more like a very convincing piece of ceramic art sitting in a pot. Key benefit. The baseball plant is a wonderful choice for collectors of unusual succulents and for anyone who wants a truly conversation-starting plant on a windowsill or shelf. It is compact, requires very little care, thrives in bright light with minimal watering, and its perfectly geometric form gives it a sculptural quality that looks striking in any setting. It is also slow-growing and long-lived, which makes it a plant you can enjoy for many years. Caution. Like all members of the euphorbia family, the baseball plant produces a milky white sap that is toxic and a skin irritant. Never let children or pets chew on this plant and wear gloves if you ever need to handle or repot it. Keep the sap away from your eyes. Care-wise, treat it like any desert succulent. Give it very bright light, very infrequent watering, excellent drainage, and a warm spot away from frost, and it will reward you for years. 8. Strangler fig, botanical name, Ficus aurea. Number 8 is a plant with a growth habit so dramatic and so unlike anything in the normal plant world that it genuinely looks like something from the imagination of a science fiction writer. This is the strangler fig. The strangler fig begins its life not in the soil, but high in the forest canopy, where its seeds are deposited by birds and fruit bats in the branches of other trees. From there, the fig sends roots downward toward the ground, sometimes taking years to reach the soil. As the roots grow, they wrap around the host tree, gradually thickening and fusing together into an extraordinary latticework of woody roots that eventually encase the host completely. Over decades, the host tree may die and decay, leaving behind a hollow, self-supporting strangler fig with an intricate, cathedral-like structure of interlocked roots where the original tree used to be. The result looks like something from a fantasy landscape, a hollow tower of braided roots and trunks reaching up into the canopy. Key benefit: strangler figs are ecologically critical in tropical forests. They produce fruit year-round, making them a keystone food source for hundreds of species of birds, mammals, and insects. Their hollow trunks provide shelter and nesting sites for countless animals. From a horticultural perspective, some related species, such as Ficus benjamina, are grown as ornamental houseplants, and certain species are used in the ancient art of bonsai to create dramatic, exposed root compositions. Caution. If you grow any ficus species indoors, be aware that they are sensitive to changes in light and temperature and will drop leaves in protest if moved. The sap of many ficus species is also a skin irritant and can trigger allergic reactions in sensitive individuals. In terms of their strangling growth habit, that behavior generally only occurs in tropical outdoor environments where the plant can complete its full life cycle. Your potted Ficus benjamina at home is not going to strangle your furniture. Probably. 9. Saguaro cactus, botanical name Carnegie gigantea. Number 9 is an icon, a silhouette so recognizable, so striking, and so utterly unlike anything in the plant world outside of the American Southwest that it has become a symbol of an entire landscape. This is the saguaro cactus. The saguaro is a giant columnar cactus that grows only in the Sonoran Desert of Arizona and northwestern Mexico. It can reach up to 40 feet in height, weigh several tons when fully hydrated, and live for over 150 years. The plant has a thick, deeply ribbed trunk and eventually grows multiple upward curving arms from the main stem, each arm taking decades to develop. The whole plant is covered in clusters of long spines. When a saguaro is silhouetted against a desert sunset, with its enormous height and outstretched arms, it looks like nothing so much as a character from another world, standing alone on an alien landscape. Key benefit: the saguaro is one of the most ecologically important plants in the Sonoran Desert. It provides food in the form of its sweet red fruit to dozens of animals, including birds, coyotes, and bats. Its trunk cavities, carved out by woodpeckers, become homes to owls, kestrels, and other birds. It stores enormous amounts of water in its pleated trunk, expanding and contracting with the seasons. It is an entire ecosystem in a single plant. For gardeners in warm, dry climates, smaller columnar cacti relatives can create a similarly dramatic and otherworldly effect in a desert garden. Caution: the saguaro is a protected plant in Arizona. It is illegal to remove, damage, or transplant one without a permit, and permits are strictly controlled. If you live in the Sonoran Desert and want to grow one, purchase only from a licensed nursery and be patient. A saguaro that is 10 years old may only be a few inches tall. These are plants measured in lifetimes, not seasons. In cooler climates, the saguaro cannot survive outdoors, but related columnar cacti species can be grown in containers or warm greenhouse environments. 10. Quiver tree, botanical name Aloidendron dichotomum, formerly Allodicotoma. And here we are at number 10, the plant I told you about at the very beginning. The first time I saw it, I genuinely thought it was a sculpture. I thought someone had carved it from pale wood and placed it in the desert as a piece of art. I could not accept that it was alive. This is the quiver tree, and it is one of the most surreal, beautiful, and otherworldly plants that exists anywhere on Earth. The quiver tree grows in the dry, rocky landscapes of Namibia and South Africa. It can reach heights of up to 30 feet. The trunk and branches are smooth, almost perfectly symmetrical, and covered in a pale silvery white bark that reflects sunlight and gives the whole tree a ghostly, luminous quality. The branches divide repeatedly in perfect forks, creating a geometric, chandelier-like canopy. At the tips of the branches, rosettes of thick, sharp aloe leaves emerge, and in winter, the tree produces spectacular, bright yellow flowers. The overall effect, particularly in the late afternoon light of the Namibian desert, is completely breathtaking. It looks like something from a dream. Key benefit: the quiver tree gets its name from the San Bushmen of southern Africa, who traditionally hollowed out the branches to make quivers for their arrows. The tree plays an important ecological role as a food source for birds and baboons who feed on the nectar and flowers. In garden design, smaller aloe relatives can be used to create a similarly dramatic, architectural effect in warm, dry gardens. The quiver tree itself is increasingly being grown in botanical gardens in warm climates as a specimen plant. Caution: the quiver tree is sadly listed as vulnerable due to climate change, which is causing a significant decline in population. It grows very slowly and requires a hot, dry, rocky environment. It is not suitable for most home gardens in cooler climates, though related aloe species can provide a similarly striking and architectural presence in the right conditions. Like the dragon blood tree at the start of our list, the quiver tree is a reminder that some of the most extraordinary things in nature exist in places and conditions we need to work harder to protect. A plant so beautiful and so strange that it barely seems possible. The perfect number 10. And that is our full list. 10 plants that look like they came from another planet. The dragon blood tree, Welwitschia, lithops, rainbow eucalyptus, the corpse flower, the black bat flower, the baseball plant, the strangler fig, the saguaro cactus, and the quiver tree. I hope this video has done what I set out for it to do: which is to show you just how extraordinary, how diverse, and how genuinely astonishing the natural world really is. We share this planet with plants that have been shaped by millions of years of evolution into forms that our imaginations could barely have invented. Some of these you can grow at home right now, some you can visit in botanical gardens, and some you may have to travel to the far corners of the earth to see. But every single one of them is worth knowing about. Thank you so much for watching. It means more than I can say that you spend your time here with me, and I hope this video was everything you hoped it would be. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like right now. It genuinely helps this video reach more plant lovers, and it takes just 1 second. I really appreciate it. If you are not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and join our community. Every week there is new content celebrating the incredible world of plants and gardens. And I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Which plant on this list blew your mind the most? Or do you know of a plant that belongs on this list that I did not include? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one and I always love hearing from you. I will see you in the very next video. Until then, keep exploring, keep growing, and never stop being amazed by the natural world. See you soon.